and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. When a prospective juror said that he knew a Robert Downey in high school, it was kind of funny. But Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other.
Remember what we're talking about here. Combs faces 5 federal charges. He's accused of running a criminal enterprise that was focused on his sexual needs and desires, hiring sex workers, procuring drugs and baby oil, setting up hotel rooms for elaborate sex parties called freak-offs. We expect that multiple alleged victims, including his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura, who we believe to be victim 1 in the case, to testify against him, that they felt forced or coerced to participate in these sexual episodes. He's facing racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution charges, potentially life in prison if convicted. And Combs, as we know, has been behind at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC out in Brooklyn, since his arrest last fall.
Yes, Judge Subramanian said that he will be watching and listening to the Two Angry Men podcast.
But not necessarily because he's a fan.
No, he's watching and listening because of something that your co-host, Mark Garagos, said on the last week's episode
of Two Angry Men,
where he referred to the prosecutors, the 6 female prosecutors, as a 6-pack of white women.
That did not sit well. But the prosecution actually sent a letter to the judge and fired it off and said, Garagos is associated with this case. He's been consulting. And how dare he say something like this?
Several jurors were dismissed, including one who had seen that hotel surveillance video. She had called it damning evidence, and for that reason, the judge had excused her from the panel. Jury selection will continue Tuesday morning until they get to the magic number 45 and go through those strikes. The judge thinks that will happen this week.
Especially the prosecution, an all-female prosecution. Really interesting. But before we do, jury selection in this case seems almost impossible. It's going to be a 2-month trial, so a lot of people are out just because of that, because of hardship.
By the way, 2-month trial during the summer.
During the summer.
I pick juries during the summer. Prepaid vacations, kids out of school, it's a nightmare.
A number of those jurors expressed that they have seen the video of Combs' home being raided in Miami last year, or of course that infamous video from 2016 of Combs in the hotel with his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Now, most prospective jurors don't have any issues, but when they do, it usually comes down to a scheduling conflict, an admitted bias, or sometimes a language barrier. But every once in a while, like we saw today, it almost appeared that some people just did not want to be a part of this jury.
Some of these potential jurors said, yeah, it's violent, it's scary, it's disgusting. But the judge pointed out that's not disqualifying. The question becomes, can you set aside your revulsion and judge the accused fairly and impartially? Also, these jurors were asked about their own personal experiences with domestic abuse and sexual assault, because that's the core of the sex trafficking case against Combs, how he allegedly used threats, coercion, drugs to control and sexually debilitate and abuse women.
King, how you doing this morning? How's it going, Justin? Quincy, how you feeling this morning? How are the twins?
Diddy just tried to run from court, and now the entire country is watching him fall apart. Federal agents caught music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on the tarmac of a private airport, just minutes away from boarding a luxury Gulfstream jet. It was supposed to be the first day of jury selection in the biggest criminal trial of his life. But instead of showing up, Diddy tried to flee the country. His destination? Cape Verde, far away, and more importantly, beyond U.S. extradition laws. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a full-blown escape attempt, and it blew up in his face. U.S. Marshals stormed the runway at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. They found Diddy surrounded by bodyguards, dressed in black, about to step onto the stairs of the jet. Inside his SUV convoy, agents recovered over $200,000 in cash, multiple burner phones, sealed legal documents titled estate transfer, and 5 luxury suitcases. This was not a business trip. Diddy wasn't heading to finalize a record deal. He was planning to disappear. And this was just the latest move in a long string of desperate actions. Just days before, Diddy's ankle monitor stopped transmitting. Authorities discovered a signal jammer hidden in a flower pot outside his New Jersey mansion. Then came a flagged attempt to wire $750,000 to a suspicious overseas bank account, caught just in time by Citibank's fraud unit. He was trying everything: escape by jet, disrupt the monitor, hide money offshore. But nothing worked. Back in court, prosecutors were ready. They had warned the judge that Diddy was a serious flight risk, and now they had proof. The judge immediately denied bail, saying there was no way to ensure he wouldn't flee again. Diddy was remanded on the spot, marched out of the courtroom by U.S. Marshals, and sent to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. This is no longer about parties or gossip. This is a federal case on trafficking, racketeering, money laundering, and witness intimidation. Prosecutors say Diddy spent decades building an empire of silence and control. Behind the flashy lifestyle was something much darker, and it's all coming out now. The court documents are damning. Over 70 civil lawsuits span decades. The allegations: coercion, manipulation, abuse. Prosecutors say Diddy lured victims to so-called white parties, fed them drugs, trapped them in private estates, and used his fame and money to keep them quiet. Now, the federal government is going for everything: his brands, his money, his reputation, and the fallout is happening fast. Revolt TV, the network Diddy founded, scrubbed his image from all platforms. De Leon Tequila is being dropped by distributors. Warner Music froze royalty payouts. Spotify pulled his songs from major playlists. Apple Music replaced his curated mix with a generic 90s rap selection. No one wants their name tied to his anymore. Even his fashion and liquor businesses are falling apart. Licensing deals are crumbling. Endorsements are disappearing. Contracts are being terminated overnight. It's a complete wipeout. And where are his friends now? Not one A-list celebrity has stood by him publicly. No rappers, no actors, no executives. Even his own children, who once attended every hearing, were nowhere to be seen during his latest court appearance. Diddy walked into that courtroom alone, faced the judge alone, and was dragged out alone. This isn't a fall from grace. It's a total collapse. But the worst part? His failed escape attempt may have sealed his fate. Jurors will hear about that in the first hour of trial. Prosecutors will show them flight records, cash seizures, burner phones, and secret texts. One of those messages? A plan to reset life in Europe. Another? Instructions on how to move his music catalog to an offshore trust. They'll hear about the signal jammer, the jet, the bags of cash, the sealed estate documents. Every single detail adds to the picture. A man on the run, doing whatever it takes to avoid justice. And it doesn't stop there. The superseding indictment revealed a $350,000 bribe wired to a publicist just days before trial. The feds say Diddy tried to pay off a witness to stay quiet. That's witness tampering. And if that charge sticks, he's facing up to 20 more years in prison. Meanwhile, more damning evidence is being prepared. Prosecutors say rapper 50 Cent submitted thousands of pages of ledgers, guest lists, and receipts that show how Diddy's empire really operated. He's also listed as a cooperating witness and may testify in court. Other witnesses include 2 former security guards who say they were paid to destroy surveillance hard drives after a party in 2018. There's also a former CFO who turned over laptops and servers that track suspicious payments to shell companies. Some of those wires, prosecutors say, went to entities connected to known victims. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks, but the damage is already done. Diddy's name is being erased from the industry. His music, brands, and businesses are being shut down. He's confined to a 7-by-10-foot cell under 24-hour watch. Even his commissary privileges are suspended while the Bureau of Prisons reviews his escape attempt. The media? All over it. Analysts, bloggers, and music historians are dissecting every move. Polls show over 2/3 of Americans following the case believe more celebrities will be dragged in. Some say this could be the biggest trial in entertainment history, bigger than R. Kelly, bigger than Epstein. The names being whispered? Even bigger than Diddy. Behind closed doors, government investigators are still chasing other leads. 4 more material witnesses are missing. People believed to have information about transfers to Caribbean accounts. Homeland Security has placed lookouts at regional airports. It's not just about Diddy anymore. It's about who helped him, who knew, and who stayed quiet. And here's the thing. Diddy's empire wasn't just music. It was real estate, liquor, fashion, nightlife. He built an entire ecosystem on image and influence. But now that image is shattered, and no one's coming to clean it up. He thought he could outrun the system. He thought a private jet and millions in the bank would keep him safe. He thought power meant protection. But now, he's in a cage. And all that power means nothing. Court insiders say the moment that jet door opened and U.S. Marshals pulled him back, everything changed. The jury won't forget it, the judge won't forget it, and the public won't forget it. This trial will go down in history. Because this isn't just about Diddy's crimes, it's about everything he represents. The parties, the silence, the manipulation, the fear. For decades, no one could touch him. Now, every skeleton is coming out. Prosecutors say they'll call over 40 witnesses. Celebrities, accountants, victims, collaborators, even some of his former executives. They'll explain how Diddy controlled everything, from the guest lists to the payouts, from the lawyers to the private jets. Every corner of his empire served one purpose: cover up the truth. But the truth is here now, and it's loud. Court records show Diddy tried to fly out 114 times in 4 years. Many of those flights were under fake names. Prosecutors say that pattern alone proves he was building an escape route for years. And if that's not enough, they've even got encrypted chats between Diddy and 3 unnamed celebrities. Texts about consolidating NDAs and finding safe harbor if things went bad. One of them allegedly promised a villa in southern Europe, just in case. Now ask yourself, who makes those plans if they're innocent? Diddy knew what was coming. He saw the walls closing in, and in the end, he chose to run. But he didn't make it. Now, he's facing decades in prison. His reputation is in ruins. His businesses are collapsing. And his desperate attempt to escape? It didn't just fail. It exposed everything. The legend of Diddy, the billionaire, the mogul, the icon. It's over. No more second chances. No more hiding. This time, he doesn't walk away. This time, there's no way out.